In the previous video, we started to see the interface and the various tools that the software Krita has to offer. In this lesson, we will continue seeing the interface and also how we can modify and personalize our workspace to make it more adapt and user-friendly to the project that we are working on. Now let's go ahead and open a new file so that we can see how we can personalize our interface. As we saw in the previous lesson, we have various ways to open a new file. We have seen that there is this central element here where we have new file, or we have open file, which gives us the possibility to open a recent file or a document on which we have already been working on and we have saved in our computer. Otherwise, we can see here in the drop-down menus that we also saw in the previous video, we can open a new file right here under New or Open as well. We can notice here that we have the shortcuts under the drop-down menu and also here in the central element, and we will see these better further on in the video as they are a very, very important resource to know. But for now, let's go ahead and start opening a new document. As you can see, this new window appears, and in this window we have the possibility to choose all the various details of our document as measurements, orientation, resolution, color model, but we will see all of these details more in depth in the following videos. For now, all we need is a simple document so that we can see how to personalize our interface and our workspace. So we can go ahead and click on Create. Now that we are here, we have the classic workspace that opens automatically when creating a new document. With our drop-down menus here at the top left corner, with the shortcuts right underneath, with our toolbar here on the left, and with our other elements here on the right, with our color picking, layers, and brushes. Obviously, the positioning of all of these various elements was studied by Krita to make them adaptable to any type of project that you might be working on. But if you have more specific needs, Krita has also created some pre-made workspaces that we can find in this top right corner here. By clicking on this button, Workspaces, we will find all of these different options. These give you the chance to change the disposition of the various elements that are in our workspace. And we can see by passing over them with our mouse that we will have a preview of what our workspace will look like. For example, by clicking on Animation, we will see how immediately our workspace is completely different. We still have our drop-down menus up here at top left corner with our shortcuts underneath, but now the toolbar that used to be here on the left has appeared underneath our shortcuts. Right underneath that we have a palette, and our layers that used to be here on the right have now moved to the left. And underneath, right at the bottom of our document, we have a timeline, which is very useful for creating animations, but we will see this further on in the videos. Heading back to our Workspace button, we can also view Big Paint, which is another option for a workspace. This one has been studied specifically for painting or freehand drawing. We have a big focus on the color selection and on our layers. We can also go back up and choose a different one, for example, minimal. You can see here how the workspace is very different. We have all of our main tools here on our left with our shortcuts up here. Our toolbar is now here. Our color selector is here. And then we also have some tool options here at the bottom. But the interesting thing about this workspace is that we have loads of shortcuts made into big icons here so that they are easy to access and also easy to learn when using this software for the first times. We have quick actions like save, save as, undo or repeat an action. We can rotate our canvas, and we also have delete. These are all very, very useful shortcuts to learn at the beginning when using this program. But the workspace that is the most common and also the default workspace when we open our program is default. This one, as said previously, has been studied and structured in a way that it would adapt to most types of projects. But if somebody had more specific needs for a more specific project, there are other ways of personalizing and modifying our workspace. You can do this slowly while you're learning how to use the program step by step. You can figure out which structure, which positioning would be more adapted to the type of work that you do. And you can do this by dragging and dropping your various elements. When a section changes color like it is changing here, that means that you are able to drop it here. And now we will have our toolbar on the top. We can also stretch it out or make it smaller. We can also drag and drop these elements over here. And we can also find a position for them in this area. We can make it larger. We can also drag and drop in the bottom. And now we have a very, very different workspace to the one that we had before. Obviously, the ideal solution can only be found by working with this program for a while and figuring out what you're most comfortable with. But for example, if this weird combination, if this weird positioning is exactly what is the most helpful and most adapt for the type of work that you're working on, you can save it, and that way you'll be able to open it again whenever you're using this program without having to drag and drop all the elements again. And you can do this by clicking on our workspace button here on the top. We can insert a name here. Let's call it example. We can save it. Then we can see here that the Overwrite button appears here. So we can click on that, and every time that we decide to change a disposition or an element, we can re-click on Overwrite. Obviously, we can always go back to our original workspace layout and then again go back to our version if we find it easier or better for our type of work. But for now, let's go back to default. Personally, I prefer the positions of these elements a lot more. If we want to continue personalizing our workspace, we have more options to do so. For example, we can go under the drop-down menu in Settings, and we can click on Configure Toolbars. Here we will find a window that will allow us to modify or change the position and order of shortcuts that we have here under our drop-down menus. At the moment in this area, we have these actions. We have new, save, paste, undo, and repeat or redo. And we can see this here in this section, the current actions: new, save, paste, undo, and redo. In this case, it says undo freehand brush stroke because it is the most recent action that I have done. Here we can choose what we believe will be the actions that we will use the most or that come in most handy when working on a project. That way we will have them in an easy access all the time. We can also decide that we might not need some of these actions and we can remove them. And we can do that in this way. By clicking on any of these actions, for example, new, we click on it and we can either move it down in the line, press OK, and now it has appeared in the third position compared to where it was before at the start. We can go back to Settings, Configure Toolbar. We can click on it again, we can move it up, or we can click on the left arrow and put it in the available action sections. Here we can find all the various actions that we might consider useful or that we might need the most, and we can move them to the current actions. If we click OK, now we see that one of the actions is gone. We don't have it here anymore. But let's go back. Now, if we decided that we actually really needed that action, which in my personal opinion, you definitely do, you can always search it here. We know that it is called new, so we can type in new, and here it is. You can click on it and move it back into your current actions. And let's make sure to move it back up the line, as it is one of the most important ones. By clicking on the X here, we can go back and see all the other actions that we can find. For example, on this current actions list, we do not have open, so we can click here on open, And in this case, we can click on the right arrow and move it into current actions. Now, by clicking OK or Apply, we will view it here at the top. In this case, clicking OK or clicking Apply will do the same action. We will still find the edits that we have done here, they will still appear up here. It isn't a preview, it will actually modify. So make sure that you know exactly what you are doing and make sure that you are able to change this action if it isn't what you actually desired. Here we can continue modifying as much as we want based on our needs. And up here we can also decide that to change the brushes. But in this case, this isn't important right now. We will talk about this when we go and talk about brushes. For now, I will remove open because I don't think it's a necessary quick action that we need right there. So I can click on OK and we can continue seeing how we can modify even more our workspace. By going under settings, we will also find themes and styles. These affect mostly the aesthetics of our software, of our workspace. It affects mostly the colors. We can see by clicking on one of these options, we can choose breeze dark, high contrast, light. For example, light changes our workspace to a very different set of colors. We have mainly bright colors, very strong contrast with the black icons, and for some people, this might be an easier workspace to work with. It might be easier on their eyes. I personally prefer the darker theme, but we can see different options here. We can click on neutral, and there is a very, very low contrast in this one. You can go back. We can click on blender. And here we have slightly more contrast, but not as much as our default option. We also have a specific high contrast version. And this allows us to see every little icon, every little tool and shortcut very, very clearly. So here you can play around, choose which themes might be easier for you, might make your work easier, might make it easier on your eyes. It is all very personal in this case. For now, we can go back to the default one that is automatically set when you open the software, Krita Dark. We can also see in styles. These are more structured based on the type of program that you have. So we have Fusion, which is the one that is set now. There's also Windows and Windows Vista. By clicking on Windows, we will have this difference. The size changes, but the colors don't change that much. And we can see Windows Vista. Here we have a very different contrast and very different colors. But let's still go back to the original one, the default one when installing Krita Fusion. When it comes to personalizing Krita to your own needs, there is also the option of modifying the keyboard shortcuts. So the ones that we have seen so far under the drop-down menus, for example, next to these tasks here like new or open or save, we will usually always find a keyboard shortcut here on the right. Like in this case, for new, we have the Control key on our keyboard plus the letter N. Now, although we have the option to modify all of these keyboard shortcuts, it is very important first to go and learn which ones are the most important at least. There's no need to learn every single keyboard shortcut, although they do come in handy, but at least I suggest to learn the most important ones, as they will help reduce the work time spent on a project. The ones used the most, and certainly some of the most important ones, we will find in these drop-down menus under File and under Edit. Under File, we will find New, as I already mentioned. Open, be recalled pressing the Control key and the letter O key at the same time, always. We have Save, which is recalled by clicking on the Control key and the letter S. Save As is very similar, but we also have to click contemporarily the key Shift. Under File, we also have Close, and this keyboard shortcut is composed by the key Control and the letter W. This one I don't consider as important or as necessary to learn right at the beginning, because I always suggest to save all of your projects as you're working before ever closing. But if by any chance you have already saved and you have learned this shortcut, then definitely go ahead and use it. Under the Edit drop-down menu, we will also find some of the most important keyboard shortcuts, like Undo, Control key plus the letter Z. This we will find is almost universal. We will find it in most programs, this shortcut, especially in any editing programs, in most design programs. But even when it comes to computer programs in general, if we try doing this combination, if we try clicking this combination of keys on our keyboard, we will definitely undo an action. Redo, in this case, in Krita, is recalled by clicking contemporarily these three keys, Control, Shift, and the letter Z. We also have cut, copy, and paste. These three, I will promise, will be some of the most used in this program and in editing or design programs in general. Cut, we can do it by clicking the Control key and the letter X. Copy, we can do it by clicking the Control key and the letter C. And paste will be the Control key and the letter V. These for sure that I mentioned under the Edit drop-down menu and the File drop-down menu are surely the most used and the most important to learn at the start of any program, and especially editing programs. And once that you have learned them, you will also have the possibility of editing them. You can change the keys that you want to click on your keyboard if you find that other keys are more adapted to the project that you're working on, or you simply just prefer them. We can do this by going under the Settings drop-down menu and clicking on Configure Krita. In this window, we will find a series of options. Right here, we will find keyboard shortcuts, and this is where we will be able to modify and view all the various keyboard shortcuts that we will need or we can use in this program. For example, since we have seen the shortcuts in the drop-down menus under File and Edit, we can find those here under Menu, File, for example, or Edit. Under File, we can find right away Close. If by any chance we decide that we do not like this combination of keys, we do have the option of changing them or modifying them. We can do that by clicking on Custom and clicking on None. And here they give us the indication to input a new series of keys. For example, we could type always Control and contemporarily maybe type the letter G. Now that we have done this, we will get this little notification. We don't always get this notification. In this case, we did, saying that this shortcut is ambiguous with the following shortcut. Do you want to assign an empty shortcut to this action? If we want to agree, if we want to continue and reassign this shortcut, we will click right here on the Reassign button. In my personal opinion, I don't suggest modifying these shortcuts, especially not at the start when we are still learning how to use the program and we are still getting familiar with all of these shortcuts. I suggest to keep the default and leave them as they are for now. But if in any chance you do change your mind and you do decide that you would like to change it, you know that the option is right here under Custom. For now, we can end this lesson here. If you have liked this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you have questions or suggestions, make sure to leave them in our comment box. You can also go and check out our other courses in our channel. I will see you in the next video.